You've been craving a change in Black media, and Let's Buy Black's Positive Black Media Project is bringing it to you every Monday night. Get your fix with the all-new breakout show that features the best in Black music, culture, education, business, fitness, technology, entertainment, and lifestyle. Get ready to meet your new favorite host, along with brilliant entrepreneurs, powerful activists, chefs. Watch a segment featuring your favorite positive Black media producers, youth initiatives, community organizations, elders, business leaders, world leaders, hot entertainers, and more. Tune in Mondays at 8 p.m. to connect.
Let's Buy Black 360.
Yeah, Let's Buy Black 360.
Let's Buy Black 365.
It's everything. We're blacking it out.
Get plugged in and tune in to letsbuyblack365.com/Connect TV.
All right, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Connect by Let's Buy Black 365.
Yes.
I'm your host, Nataki.
I'm Tyler.
Yes, so it has been an incredible season so far. We have covered so many different topics, and the feedback has been unbelievable.
Absolutely.
And so, this is a variety show, but tonight we're going to switch it up a little bit and just talk about some of the headlines that affect all of us, and how the Black world is getting a little smaller in terms of how we are actually interacting and seeing what's going on.
All right. So just to get it started, family, this marks the 6 years since we've had our young brother Trayvon Martin, be shot and killed in Sanford, Florida by that watchman, and that really has catapulted the nation. Like, it was a nationwide outcry, really worldwide, about the reaction would happen, and just doing that trial, and it spurred the movement of just recognizing Black lives. And for me personally, that really helped to get me involved in the movement as well. Yeah,
I think I mentioned once before that when he passed, or not passed, let's be clear. When he was murdered violently, I, on social media at the time, posted a picture that had the Dr. King quote. I think on the episode with Dr. King I talked about that I posted the quote that says, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." And it really catalyzed me in a different way. I grew up in a Pan-African household and have always been aware of the injustice, and it has not stopped. And it's been a constant onslaught of people of all ages, but just that case in particular, and just the innocence that he had, just really hit so many of us in a different way. And it felt like I lost a sibling.
Yeah, I think that it affected us all that way, because I remember very distinctly being at my job at that time prior, and just going to the bathroom and just being so overcome with emotion. I think that was the first time I cried for a non-family member.
Wow.
Because it touched me so much. So I'm like, why? Like 17 years old.
Yeah.
Minding his business, coming home, like, why?
And you think, we all have siblings or nieces or nephews or just, children that we've seen grow up, and to see all of that potential in a baby and see them still as babies at 17, it really affected us. And so, we definitely want to acknowledge the family.
Absolutely. Queen Mother Sabrina Fulton, the father, King Tracy. And even the brother, he had an older brother too. Yeah, all of them.
So, and one of the things we always talk about here at Let's Buy Black 365 and Connect, that in addition to talking about problems, we also always want to come with solutions. It's not enough to just say, yeah, that really sucks. You know, yeah, that was really jacked up. But we also want to have solutions. And so in the past, we have done crowdsourced activities where people can fundraise for certain causes. And one of the things that I strongly believe, and I'm sure others of us believe, and that we've talked about as a movement, is that there should not be a situation where any of our families that are dealing with police violence or gun violence or the constant murder and assault and genocide against our people, there should not be a case where that happens and the families still have to work and struggle as if nothing happened, but they have this huge void. And so coming up in the near future on Let's Buy Black, you'll actually be able to crowdfund and help support those, and you'll actually meet people who've experienced this and be able to help them, so that because one of the things we also recognize is on the other side of this, when these things happen, the police and you know, these other people, in some way we need to say their name too, because just like the name Hitler is spoken all the time, we need to know the names of these people who are committing acts of genocide. So, you know, people like Zimmerman and all these others who have committed acts of genocide are set for life because their people are surrounding them with financial resources, so they never have to they never have to worry again. And regardless of what they're doing for their people, we need to make sure we are taking care of our own. And so we're making a mechanism available here at Let's Buy Black 365 where we're actually going to allow people who are so frustrated and feel like there's nothing that we can do to actually be a part of the solution for these families.
Excellent. We need it. And I'm happy to actually participate and be involved because there's nothing like actually changing the dynamic in your community through economic empowerment.
Exactly.
Right. That's important.
Exactly. Right. And, you know, when we did the Black Solutions for Black Communities activity in the past, one of the things that everybody who contributed, whether they contributed $5 or whether they contributed $100 or whatever it was, everyone said, you know, this is one of the first times I've ever felt like what I do makes a difference. And that is powerful.
That is power, truth to power.
It really is. And so you'll find out more throughout the season about ways that you can feel empowered, and not just feel empowered, but be empowered in ways that you may have never felt before. So, you know, it's horrible that we have to think of it in this context, but again, in the context of solutions, we do have some ways to actually get there.
Excellent. It's much needed too. So, you know, moving on to a lighter topic a bit, but I came across two beautiful young Black children, Charlie and Hannah Lucas, out of Atlanta, Georgia. Now listen to this story, family. So the older sibling, the sister Hannah, she had a disease, or rather an illness, that when she stands up, you know, her heart rate increases. So due to this, she feels faint, you know, she passes out from time to time. And her story is that her mother found her in her room with a razor because it became so much for her to bear that she was thinking about committing suicide. So when the younger brother, the 13-year-old brother, found out about this, he said, you know what, we got to do something. So he created an app called Not Okay. And on this app, you can actually press a button and then it'll send a mass text message out to your contacts that will say, hey, I'm not okay. Can you text me? Can you message me, call me? And then it also sends a GPS location to that particular contact.
Right.
So that's definitely like the brother looking out for the older sister.
It's just, I mean, just the youth entrepreneurs. We're going to meet more youth entrepreneurs this season. And, you know, just the brilliance to, you know, that's what this is all about. It's about taking problems and not just, you know, living in the problem, but looking at how do I create a solution around this problem. So that is so beautiful. And, you know, we talked earlier in the season about the importance of mental health and mental health care. and the stigma around mental health care. Yeah. And I think it's so encouraging to have an app where the app even says it's okay to not be okay.
Exactly. And it's not just for those that may be going through like an illness. It's for everybody. Really. Like it's a great resource. And the fact that you see our young geniuses, you know, in the community actually doing things, solutions that are solving problems that are prevalent in society. So that kudos to that family. Exactly.
And I'm really just inspired by that because, you know, the reality is in the world that we live in, and you've heard me say this before, in the world that we live in, and especially for those of us in the United States, we are aware of the mass genocide. We're aware of the underemployment and all the problems. We're aware of the environmental attacks and the food deserts and the, you know, just the nonstop assault. And it concerns me when someone says, I don't need mental health. I don't need anything.
You cannot live in this country as a Black person and not have any type of assistance.
Right.
You know, with
and if you are so emotionally detached that you think it doesn't affect you, then you're in more danger than you realize. And so, you know, when that awakening happens, where it hits you in that rush and you're like, oh my gosh, because I've been trying to avoid it or suppress it or feel like it's not me. And it's, you know, apps like this and, you know, services like Ava Lara talked about and, you know, my mother talked about ONIPA and the help that can be there. You know, these are all super important. So, you know, amazing young people. I'm loving the youth entrepreneurship. Yeah.
Indeed. So, in other news, now this is something that really has, you know, captured our attention. The DACA situation. So that's the deferred action on child. Was it deferred action on child assistance? It'll come to me, but
I'm blanking on it. We'll throw it up on the screen.
Right. But yeah, so the Supreme Court actually just recently stated that they're going to abstain from ruling on DACA, which means that normally, for those who don't know, DACA is a program that's been enacted for children who come to this country and their parents are not. They call them illegal immigrants.
Not legally in the country, right?
Legally in the country. And through this program, because this was under the Obama administration, through this program, you have those that are in the program. You have to renew it every 2 years, but you have an opportunity to get your work permit. And through that, you can get your health benefits. You can go to school, you know, get in-state tuition and so many other things. And the way that it affects, because a lot of people believe that, you know, or under the notion that DACA only pertains to like Latin America, Mexicans and stuff like that. But it really, for the African community, 11,000 of the recipients of DACA came from Black nations. And then 36,000 are eligible, African immigrants are eligible for these benefits. So this does affect us.
And, you know, what we need to recognize is these are children who, many of whom have only been in this country or only know this country, who are being threatened with deportation to a country that they've never known. And it's under the guise of protecting America, but it's really another act of overt, you know, racism and, you know, just the blatant bigotry that this country has always shown. So, you know, in some sense, I've heard people say, well, you know, I'm Black and I got Black issues to deal with in this country. That doesn't affect me. But it really does because, you know, that there's a famous poem. Oh my gosh, and I'm blanking on they came for me. Well, where it goes, you know, they came for the Jew and I said nothing, and then they came for the Native American and I said nothing, and they just came for all these people in society, and they were taken out and, you know, exterminated or done whatever. And then at the end of the poem it says, and then they came for me, and there was no one left to say anything. So even if for some reason you don't feel the empathy for someone who is suffering an injustice, you have to recognize that if you don't stand up for injustice when it's happening to someone else, there will be no one left to stand up for injustice when it's happening to you. And so it's important for all of us to recognize our role, and also just our role in taking empowered stances on everything.
Absolutely.
And this is an opportunity to see very clearly what's right and what's wrong, especially under the rhetoric of those who claim that their immigrant relatives helped found this country, but they now don't want other immigrants and their children to be able to benefit from a country of immigrants who are in a quote unquote melting pot. So, you know, staying informed on topics like these, sometimes we tend to think, oh gosh, that's news and I don't care. But, you know, it's actually ways to actually be empowered, feel empowered, and really make a difference in meaningful ways that you never thought you could.
Absolutely. And it's important to be informed, because like you said with the poem, if you're ignoring all these other issues, then when it comes to your front doorstep, you're going to be blindsided by it. Right. So it's good to talk about other things, but certain things that are on the table that are really pertinent in these programs, particularly for, you know, the brothers and sisters that are coming here that have businesses, have institutions and things of that nature that benefit us. You know, it's important to kind of look out and making sure that you're aware of what's going on so that you can see what's coming down the pipe.
Definitely. Well, thank you for that. You know, we've got to take a break.
Oh yeah.
And so when we come back, we'll be back with more headline news stories, more ways that you will be empowered and can, you know, share some resources with others you know. And we'll be back in a minute.
All right.
Yeah. Oh, that stick shift action.
Do it again. Watch right here.
Yeah, she's about to shift.
And that was smooth. Oh, it's there. Right there. It's there. You're giving me the ooh. You're giving me the news. I'm trying to fly you to the ocean. Feel the breeze underneath palm trees. Let's put this plan in motion. Guava, baby, you know I got the potion now. And the oil for that body, you don't need no lotion. And me happily, I'm chillin' with no yacht, but I'm with my friends, so you know it's hot, it's lit. I'm chillin' with no yacht, but I'm with my friends, so you know it's hot, it's lit. I'm chillin' with no villains, just my family and friends, 'cause it's all we got, and it's lit, it's lit. You're giving me the blues. You're giving me the clues. You want to party and rock it and mingle with chicks that rock like Lottie and spread happiness. Peace, love, and cocky with high confidence. Sweet like lemons and kiwi, yummy, with no yacht, just my family and friends,
Alyssa Nicole, family.
Yes. Threw it to a little musical Yes. So that's our resident, one of our resident entertainers, Alyssa Nicole. She stops by the studio later this season, so you'll get to meet her, hear more of her music, and she's got an album coming out this summer that is just
phenomenal.
Yeah,
I love her vibes, like just the vibes.
Yeah,
her, you know, it's very. I don't know why she gives me an Erykah Badu-ish type of feel.
And just her, you know, I love entertainers who are actually down to earth and grounded and just genuine, nice people who haven't been just tainted by the whole California fake Hollywood, whatever kind of energy. Yeah. So, you know, when you can kind of throw that on and it elevates your mood, it's, you know, whatever your mood is, it elevates it. I just today got one that a lot of people have been talking about recently, and I think some of the discussion got overshadowed by the Black Panther release.
That dominated everything.
Yeah, but you know, there's been so much talk about gentrification in recent weeks and Black people literally disappearing.
That's a big issue. That's a big issue in our cities around the nation.
Around the country. And, you know, when we look at it and it's just like, well, if every city is experiencing, you know, hundreds, thousands of people who are missing, who have disappeared, who are unaccounted for, who are displaced, and then if everybody's displaced everywhere, then where is everybody going? So, you know, another heavy topic, but again, this show is all about how we can actually hear the news, read the news, see the news, and get the information coming from Black media and actually use it to empower ourselves in our everyday lives. So, you know, regardless of wherever you are in your life, we're really excited that coming up very soon, we want you to bookmark your calendar for April 4th. If you can be in the Newark, New Jersey area, there is an announcement coming. For those of you who came to the State of the Black World Conference in 2016, we left that conference and we said it's not just a conference, it's actually about creating and devising solutions and an action plan. Well, for about 6 months following that conference, we actually put an action plan together, and but part of that plan that was developed, as well as plans with others, are actually coming into reality. So again, not just talking about problems, but actually creating solutions. The mayor of Newark, New Jersey, is going to be putting forth some activities where we can create a model city of what Black America should be like. So there's all this talk about Black Wall Street, Black Wall Street, Black Wall Street, and the past. And it's great to acknowledge the past and use it as a source of inspiration. But it's even better to be able to look at those models of the past and use it as a source of current action. And so Let's Buy Black 365 and I chaired that panel and that plenary discussion, and the fruits of that are, some of the fruits of that are actually going to be shared on April 4th. And for those of you who are, whether you're seeking jobs, whether you're seeking investment opportunities, whether you're seeking whatever it is, you'll be able to get in on that. And we're so excited to have, you know, this connection. We so often hear that, oh, well, you know, the government ain't doing nothing or whatever. And we make the distinction that, you know, there's a big difference between federal government and your local government.
Absolutely, local and state.
And when you elect local politicians who have actually a stake in your community and who are groomed to be in community, not just a black face on a title, these are the kinds of things that are possible. And these are actually the kinds of things that made Black Wall Streets and other communities like Little Haiti and Durham and other, you know, Wilmington, all these were possible because of the political side and the business side. Yeah,
the fact that with politicians, and this is when we have to become like politically aware and conscious of what's going on. If you have someone, think of it like this, family, if you have someone who is groomed in the community, knows the back streets, knows the issues of that particular community, and then they understand the politics of it, they get into office, they'll be better suited to handle those particular issues that you may have, whether it be street what is that, the little cameras that they always get, the speed cameras, or like bumps and humps and anything that's going on in the community. They'll be more able to handle that because they know about it, as opposed to if you're focusing solely on the presidential side of it, you know, which really
doesn't really impact us on an everyday basis.
Not an everyday basis. Right. So that's why it's important with the brother, and especially with the mayor, you know, Ras Baraka. He is that brother. Like, and his father's Amiri Baraka. Like, I just that whole family. You know? But they what he's doing in Newark is a great model, you know, just for how we need to structure our cities. And we make up, what, 40 million Black folks in America? So if we can...
Almost 50.
So if we can model that in Oakland, you know, Houston, Atlanta, and just D.C., like all these various Black, you know, cities across the nation, like then we can really go toward, put in the context where everybody knows now, Wakanda.
Yes. So probably the most spoken, you know, African country name. But, you know, so again, mark your calendar for April 4th. And if you can be in Newark, even if you can't, there's going to be another Let's Buy Black 365 conference call. You know, we've had those people all over the country come together, and it's actually you who've participated in these calls that are actually making part of this possible, because this all came out of our participation in the State of the Black World Conference and the actual having it come to fruition. So, yes.
Well, what was the biggest thing that you took out of the conference when you, or the conference or the phone calls and the meetings as it pertains to like building a model city?
Yeah, well, I think one of the things I took from it is that Dr. Ron Daniels, who is the president of the Institute of the Black World, charged me with making sure that it wasn't just Black people meeting in a hotel and then going home with a good feeling about having met in a hotel. And he impressed that he didn't want monologues from talking heads. He didn't want just speeches. And he said, you know, you should be creating models in this session. And so as I moderated, I made sure that we were hearing from everyone. And you know, this wasn't a room full of corporate CEOs. It was persons. There were a couple of people there who were like, I'm unemployed, and actually
the real
networked.
People of the community.
Right. There were business owners, persons in real estate and other industries, manufacturing. There were professionals there. My mother was there, psychologists, and a couple other psychologists were there. And so everyone contributed ideas. And what came out of that was, if we're going to have a plan about economic empowerment, one, it needs to be holistic. We can't have the piecemeal, let's just do this one thing, because that's not how economics works. It's got to be holistic. Otherwise, there's a drain. The other thing that came out of it was we need it to be tangible and realistic on a meaningful level. So it can't be high level, pie in the sky. You know, it's got to have something in the present day while still looking ahead 50 to 100 years in the future, because every successful, thriving community doesn't just look at, well, what's happening today, or what's happening this month, or what's happening over the next 2 years or 4 years of the election cycle. It's how am I building this community so that 50 years from now, 100, 200 years from now, I want the city to look like this. And so that's actually how we developed the plan.
I love it. Like, and the thing that strikes me about it is the fact we always admire kids and how they have this just ingenuity about them, because they haven't grown up in a space where, you know, it has been imposed upon them certain like duties and things, limitations. Exactly. So you wonder how they can come up with all these concepts like the mobile apps and some of the other things that you may see that they come up with. And as we're striving toward complete economic empowerment and being self-sufficient just as a community, You know, when we tackle some of these issues that are pertinent to everyday people, like rent, you know, food, clothing, like the basic stuff. That way it provides more opportunity to be thinking on those levels to start creating and building. So the fact that you have all these great people coming together to formulate a plan, you know, 20, 50, 100 years from now, as to how it's going to look when your great-grandchildren are going to be here, you know, is very important for our community to get behind that, be a part of it, and figure out what your role is when it comes to when you are assigned a task or duty or what you're going to do to execute it.
Right. Because one of the realities is those persons who participate on the front end are the first ones to kind of reap the benefits because they hear about it first. So, you know, one of the challenges in our community and one of the reasons why Black media is so important is because so much of news in the Black community historically has been after the fact. This has happened and now I'm finding out late and now it's over and I can't take advantage of it. And so, you know, through this show and through other Black media sources, now some of our media partners, you're actually finding out about things in enough in advance that you can actually take advantage of them and benefit from them in the present. So super exciting. You're going to hear more about that on here on Connect, and hopefully you're on our mailing list. If not, definitely go to letsbuyblack.com and subscribe to the push notifications there, and also subscribe to the email list. So yeah. And we've got to take another break. Speaking of saving the dates, we are so excited about seeing all of our Let's Buy Black 365 and Connect family in Ghana.
Oh, yes. The heat.
Yes. So, you know, we said, you know, if you really want to see what a Wakandan-like nation is, Ghana has been, you know, Ghana led the independence movement, Kwame Nkrumah, and, you know, to really see what Black ingenuity is at its best, you know, some of the most amazing factories and technology resources are in Ghana. We're going to Ghana this summer. And so definitely bookmark your calendar for, I think it's July 10th through the 22nd, and register for the Sankofa journey. So you can actually not just watch, you know, fake African greatness, but actually experience real African greatness. So we're going to take a break and give you a couple of minutes of sunshine again from the Sankofa journey, and we'll be right back.
All right.
Aluna kande so diala. Aluna kande foli aluna kande dugu diala. Aluna kande so diala. Aluna kande foli aluna kande so diala. Aluna kande so diala. Aluna kande jembe fola aluna kande dugu diala. Aluna kande so diala. Aluna kande foli aluna kande so diala. Yeah, aluna kande so diala. Aluna kande foli aluna kambara dugu diambolo. Aluna kande so diala. Aluna kande foli aluna kande so diala. Aluna kande so diala. Aluna kande sewa de luna kande dugu diala. Aluna kande so diala. Aluna kande foli aluna kande so diala.
All right.
Every time I see the heat.
Trust me. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. And this is the 20th year anniversary of the Sankofa journey.
So it's gonna be lit.
Yeah, and to actually, and coming up this season, you're also before the Sankofa journey, you're going to meet Dr. Obadale Kamban, and that episode is going to be really exciting because everybody is talking about this fictitious African king, and we're actually going to introduce you to a real African king who is doing amazing things right on the ground in Ghana that is impacting Black people all over the world.
11 languages, right?
Something like that. I can't even count how many languages.
Trying to figure out English.
Right. So, those are some of the top headlines, but, there's been so much going on, and just, I don't know, the energy in the Black community now is, it seems like it ebbs and flows in terms of we're waking up, back to sleep. Waking up, back to sleep. But, this awakening feels a little bit different.
Yeah. And it's interesting because, and we joke about the movie and everything, but the impact that it has had, Black Panther, is the conversations that are taking place about those that are born on the continent and those that are born throughout the diaspora. And personally, when I engage and interact with continental Africans, those born on the continent, I've received nothing but, love and, welcoming home and stuff like that. But there have been times here in the States where you may come across few, like you have in any, group. You'll come across few that have been like, nah, I don't know. Who are you? You don't have any, trying to take away your birthright. And I'm like, nah, I don't think you have the pull to do that.
I love that response. And honestly, I remember a conversation I had back in college, and people were like, oh, well, Africans think they're better than us. And I'm like, okay, first of all, that sentence in and of itself is ridiculous because you are African. Exactly. So, for you to even think that there's another group that can anyway. But the reality is, I think it's all an approach. Yeah. And so if you start a conversation with somebody assuming that they think that they're better than you and you're coming into it with that attitude, then of course there's going to be hostility. Right. But like you said, I meet people all the time. The DC area is just ripe with people from all over the world. And, I usually strike up a conversation. I hear an accent. My first question is, I like your accent. Where are you from? First of all, I guess even by saying I like your accent, that sets the tone because I'm not making fun of the accent. Exactly. I'm not, I'm not approaching in like a critical way. And then I also have the benefit of having 3 African names, which usually gets laughs because my first name is from Ghana, Nataki. My middle name is from Nigeria, and my last name is Kenyan. And so, people are like, hey, you're from So, but, starting conversations, and I just, I've met some incredible people who've ended up being friends and clients and all kinds of things, or who I've been able to connect with other resources, or they've been able to connect me with other resources. And so, I think when we look at what all the negative things that happen to us in a system of racism and white supremacy, we need to recognize that we have with us allies, right? Who, once we approach as allies and just have conversations, then, it makes our world, again, a little bit bigger or maybe smaller. I don't know. It's it makes it just, a better world to live in.
Yeah. And the interesting thing about it is, like you said, when you come in amicable and friendly about it, then that typically has been the response, reciprocation. Yeah. And the response that I've gotten, like it was one brother of mine, he's a Kenyan brother, and I'll never forget, we had a conversation about this, and he's like, I want to taste some of y'all food. I want to figure out where the spots to go to. Like, he just needed like that segue into it, And we talked about Kwanzaa, and maybe that's a start and stuff like that. But you'll find that a lot of them, I bear witness to at the other day in a restaurant where it was a young brother here. He was going to Howard University. And then there was another brother who I detected was from either Ethiopia or Eritrea, right? And they just started asking like simple questions. Like the young brother, he was probably like 20. The other brother was maybe like 40. He was like, yeah, so where you from? And then the brother answered, and he was like, okay. So what type of food you eat? He started like really answering questions, and I think that's where it starts, because a lot of times you just don't know how to initially engage, and because the media has done an impressive job with dividing us, that you get so many different stereotypes, and you find that you're trying to overcome these stereotypes, but don't really know how to attack it.
It reminds me of a political cartoon that came out years ago. I think it came out in the 90s. And you have this Abraham Lincoln looking character who is sitting on the back of a black man. And the caption reads, and he's riding him like a horse. And the caption reads, well, you have to admit that we may have screwed up everything else, but we've done a number on you people.
Wow. And it's like, I didn't know that.
It is a powerful, we'll throw it out because it's a powerful political cartoon.
Yeah.
But, to your point about starting dialogues, I think sometimes and I'm thinking about how sometimes people are like, oh, soul food, we can't leave the soul food. But really, any food is a conversation starter, and you can bond around any food.
Absolutely.
And so starting conversations around food and music are two really good ways to open conversations. And I'll share really quickly. People who know me well know I am a diehard salsa dancer.
She is.
I love salsa almost more than life itself. And there was a big salsa, they're called salsa congresses, where it'll be like dancing from 8 a.m. to midnight, well, sometimes 3 o'clock in the morning, and then you wake up and do it all over again for like 3-4 days. But at night, they have these huge parties, and at one of the salsa congresses, they had an international room. It was an African international room. And I went in that room. So I told you how much I love salsa. I went into the international room, and the brothers and sisters were in there jamming.
Yes.
And the music was, they had the DJ. It was just, and it was black people from all over, plus, continental Africans, plus folks from the Caribbean. And we danced. And then afterwards, people were talking and getting to know each other, and we exchanged phone numbers. And I'm still friends with some of these people. That was years ago. So, dancing
that is definitely a segue.
Is always a great way, or throwing some music on. Hey, what you listening to? What else you got?
Exactly. Interesting that you brought that up, because I had a similar experience where, like, I was at this spot, and they played it was Ghanaian music, right? So the High Life, Hip Life.
High Life.
High Life is the R&B equivalent type, and Hip Life is like the fusion of hip hop and that. But I remember them playing it, and I'm a dancer myself, and I'm telling you, I've never sweated so hard.
We're gonna have to see Tyler now. He keeps making these claims, but
I can, y'all ain't ready for it yet. But I remember sweating so hard, and it was funny because they were teaching me some of the dances that, they were doing, and I was teaching them some of the things I picked up and stuff like that, but we were jamming. And in the music, you'll notice that the vibrations, we play oftentimes on a set, behind the scenes, we may play like Another Star by Stevie Wonder. And like that, just that section with the congos, I love the song, I'm sorry. But that section with the congos, it's like you hear the origins, the African beats in it. So even with the hip hop nowadays, you still hear
a lot of Stevie Wonder's music has that African element that's just...
and it speaks to your soul. But like music, food are two things you can get black folks to come to the table with and talk about.
Yes. So on that note, we're going to transition. Speaking of food, we've had so many requests to do more food and cooking segments on the show. So I am pleased to announce that this season we're going to have at least 6 more cooking demos where you're going to see all different kinds of things, and just to bring you up to some of the things that you can expect from the rest of this season. You're going to be able to learn. It's that time of year now, especially for those who are on the East Coast, where if you are in a food desert or if you maybe aren't in a food desert and you just don't want to give the grocery store all your money, we're going to show you how to plant a super easy, inexpensive container garden so you can have some just staple goods in your kitchen regardless of how big or small your house is, whether you're in an apartment or condo. So we've got that coming up. Definitely have some more entertainers and performances and music videos. So we're super excited that, you know, the positive entertainers. So whether if you're an entertainer or if there's someone you want us to know about, definitely go on the website and let us know. We got some really great surprises for you on that. Then we also are going to introduce you to some amazing Black people who are doing some things that you never even realized that Black people are doing. I'm not going to spoil it, but ways for you to expand your professional horizons and your, you know, career, or you know, get plugged into just all different kinds of resources that you didn't even realize were right under your fingertips just by connecting through Let's Buy Black 365.
That's the solutions-based part of this show. That's what we talk about, family. Like really understanding what it is that you need to do in order to empower yourself in our community.
Right. So there's so much more. We definitely want to invite you. There are a couple other features. You know, we've had 2 websites. We've had the Let's Buy Black 365.com, and then we've also had the Let's Buy Black.com. And so now they're coming together. So the search feature, people really like the business search feature. We've upgraded and improved that. So that's coming soon. You'll actually be able to use it and find businesses right in your area via GPS. There are so many other things, offers. You'll also, for those of you who are employers who want to be able to hire the best and the brightest in the Black community, there's a feature on there where you'll actually be able to post and recruit for jobs, which is super important for both the job creators who want to be able to hire from the best and brightest, and also for those people who are like, I'm either looking for a job or I'd like to work for a company that I can see that's reinvesting in my community. So all that is coming up in the next couple of weeks, all here on Connect.
All here. And it's so funny because I find that I come across a lot of people that always ask, one of the biggest things that they ask is, you know, I want to shop Black, but I have no directories. I don't know where to go and all these things. I'm like, we got it for you. Right here. We got it for you.
And then, you know, what my favorite part of it is that, you know, there is a listing of businesses, but one of the things that we need more than anything in the Black community is to share resources with each other.
Absolutely.
We each are a source of information and empowerment for someone else. And the biggest challenge that we have is that we don't recognize our own power and our own strength. And one of the ways that you can do that is, you know, with the directory, the businesses that are there were not curated or you know, collected by anybody. They were put there by individuals like you who said, I know 3 Black-owned businesses that are quality, that, you know, give good customer service and all that. And I want other people to know. So I'm going to post it. I'm going to rate it. I'm going to review it so that other people can find it and know about it too. And that's what collective empowerment really is. And so, you know, there's going to be an invitation. And the best part is it's actually designed. We've always had the point system. It's actually designed now that once you rate and review or post a business, or even by watching Connect, you get points that you can use to buy things from the store that's on Let's Buy Black 365. So just by networking, just by sharing information, sharing resources, just by connecting your friends to Connect and Let's Buy Black 365, you benefit financially.
Yeah, what you said, you can literally be in your bed, writing the businesses that you know, connecting and sharing the different resources and network, not even having to leave your house, and collect points and reward points that will go toward certain things that you could get.
Yeah. So essentially you're getting free stuff just by sharing what you know. Yeah. So, you know, if that ain't Black empowerment, I don't know what is.
You cannot beat that.
Yeah. So, so much coming ahead on this season. And for those of you who want to get plugged into the show, you know, this has been a little off our general routine. We usually have the variety and the segments, but people have just been asking what's going on in the movement, and what's our take on some of these hot button issues. So we're definitely excited to share all that's coming up. Definitely book your calendar for April 4th in Newark. I'm not sure whether it will be live stream, but if you can't be there, we're definitely going to have a way for you to plug into what's going on there, because regardless of whether you live in Newark or the area, this is what's coming to your city, or what can come to your city. Also, definitely go right now to sankofajourney.com and SANKOFA journey, JOURNEY.com. Check out just everything going on there. Do not wait, do not wait, do not wait. Sign up for the Sankofa Journey. It's a super affordable trip. It's like 2 weeks in, and it's, it's so hard to describe.
This is what it is. All right. Mangoes.
Oh. Pineapples. Jollof rice. I'm sorry, you were listening.
But you get it's just something about the food. I'm telling you, it's so fresh. But not only that, just the cultural aspect of it. Being able to understand the Sankofa journey, going back to understand the roots in your history and understanding the connection that you have. It's something spiritual for me personally about Ghana. That's just like a pull. But you do not want to miss that.
And also, it's at this time where so many of us are experiencing this awakening to a different level of African consciousness. The best way to harness that is to go back and understand and come forward with two experts who are, Dr. Obadale Kamban is, a brilliant historian. How he keeps all that information in his mind, and, being a king in Ghana, the people he knows and living there, has and being such a notable there makes that aspect of the journey. And then Dr. Mawia Kamban, who does the guided meditations and is lived Pan-Africanism her entire adult life, or at least the last 40 some years of it, to have two people with that background who love Black people be the ones to take you on this experience so that you can come back and continue to reap the benefits is I'm so excited.
I know. Y'all have to experience it, I'm telling you.
But we're almost out of time. So we've got one more thing for you. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
All right.
From antiquity to the present, our people need to develop a new paradigm. It's time for an awakening with your host, Brother Elliot. Sundays, 7 p.m., Fridays at 8 p.m. For podcasting or live program scheduling, hit us up at timeforanawakening@gmail.com.
Focuses on empowering our African community. It delivers inspiring peace and love, family. Get This Wisdom magazine is the hottest new publication that focuses on empowering our African community. It delivers inspiring interviews, relevant articles, cultural news, spiritual tips, health and wellness, children's activities, and more. Y'all gotta read this, family. Go to www.getthiswisdommagazine.com now. I mean, right now.
Hey, all right.
All right, family. So it's about that time. Definitely want to invite you to get involved with Connect and Let's Buy Black 365.
We need to hear from you.
Yes. And that's also really exciting. You know, our media partners at Time for an Awakening Media are actually, you know, one of the things people have asked is, you know, will I be able to call in and all that? So we now have it where we'll be able to do call-in segments. So if you have questions or commentary, you'll be able to do that. You'll also be able to listen to the live stream directly on timeforanawakening.com. So super excited about that feature. And then check out some of the news. You know, Time for an Awakening is on Black Talk Radio, and they stand also as a media source themselves. Just really incredible top of the line in terms of professional and information. So we want to invite you to call in when that feature comes up. Also, if you are interested in joining the Let's Buy Black 365 team, there are all different kinds of ways to plug in. So you can join us. You can send us an email. We'll post it below and get connected.
All right. Well, you know, once again, we got to say goodbye, but it's more like a farewell, you know.
Yeah.
But before we go, we want to leave you all with a quote. You know, it's an African proverb. If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. All right. Marinate on that a bit. So I'm your host, Tyler.
And I'm Nataki.
We're blacking it out.
You've been craving a change in black media, and Let's Buy Black's Positive Black Media Project is bringing it to you every Monday night. Get your fix with the all-new breakout show that features the best in black music, culture, education, business, fitness, technology, entertainment, and lifestyle. Get ready to meet your new favorite host, along with brilliant entrepreneurs, powerful activists, chefs. Watch a segment featuring your favorite positive black media producers, youth initiatives, community organizations, elders, business leaders, world leaders, hot entertainers, and more. Tune in Mondays at 8 p.m. to connect.
Let's Buy Black 360.
Let's Buy Black 360.
Let's Buy Black 365.
It's everything. We're blacking it out.
Get plugged in and tune in to letsbuyblack365.com/connecttv.